Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon, dear students. So here we are going to start with section 4, that is genre drama. Okay, so in this we will be dealing with different topics, like first, in the very first one, that is 4.1, we will be dealing with history of English drama, and then later in the another chapters you will be having the drama. Okay, so here are the topics. As you can see, the 4.1 is history of English drama, in which we will come to know in detail about what exactly the history of drama. And then later in 4.2 you will we have to study the rising of the moon, then A Midsummer Night's Dream, and enemy of the people. So here are the topics which we are going to do. Now here, first let's see the introduction part. History of English drama. How dramatic you are is your response when a friend exaggerates or overreacts. It means you are correctly using the adjective form of the word drama. Drama is performance which is essentially loud, exaggerated, and larger than life. Like, if, sometimes we call our friends, like, how dramatic you are. So, like, the response that comes from a friend, or like the way we respond to it, like, it basically, when someone overreacts or someone exaggerates the things, so then only we use the term dramatic, right? So that's what, if we are doing it, so we are doing it correctly, that's what it is talking about. So the word drama is basically like, kind of performance which is essentially loud and exaggerated. Okay, it is an audio visual medium, the audience sitting around. So basically what happens in the drama, like, there will be the audience sitting around, and then there will be the audience will be there, then there will be visual and audio things will be there, and then should be able in front of, close to, or in the last row of the stage whisper is theater should be able to hear and see the actor on stage. So when the actors there on stage, so either the person is sitting in a front row or the last row, that doesn't matter, everyone will be able to see the character who is acting on the stage right now. Okay, this would be an example of willing suspension of disbelief. It can be defined as willingness to accept the unreal. Here what happens basically, like, we know that whatever is happening on the stage is a drama, means that's not reality. Okay, but then do we accept the things whatever is happening as if it's happening in real? Okay, it may also mean sacrifice of realism and logic for the sake of enjoyment, and there might be, like, there will be no realism, there will be no logic, it might possible, but for the sake of enjoyment we are ready to sacrifice all these things. The term was coined by the poet and aesthetic philosopher Samuel T. Coleridge. Okay, now this term was coined by whom? By the aesthetic philosopher Samuel T. Coleridge. The term often applies to fictional works of action, comedy, fantasy, and horror genres. It refers drama to the willingness of the audience to overlook the limitations of a medium. Drama is a medium of expression whereby performers express themselves artistically. Here, like, people knows that, yeah, it's happening, like, in a drama, it's not real, but then too people accept those things, and as if, like, we enjoy things as if it's happening for real and everything. And then what he says here, the performance is based on a script which is in the form of dialogues. So basically the whole performance is based on, obviously, on the script. If the script is not good, like, it might possible that the audience won't enjoy the drama at all. And basically the script is in the dialogues form, whereas a story or a novel is written in the narrative form. Poetry is language expressed in rhythm and meter. Now when we talk about the the drama, it will be in a dialogues form. Okay, but when we talk about a story or a novel, it will be in a written or in a narrative form, right? But when it comes to poetry, it will be in a rhythm and meter form. Okay, drama is the specific mode of fiction expressed in performance. So now what drama is all about, it's a specific mode of fiction basically, which is based on performance, which is represented by the performance. A play, opera, mime, and ballet are performed in a theater, on radio, on television. So these are the mediums of presenting the opera, mime, and ballet, and etc. Now, what is drama? Drama is a composition in verse or prose to be acted on the stage, in which a story is related by means of dialogue and action and is represented with accompanying gesture, costume, and scenery as in real life. So this definition is given by the this dictionary is of a shorter Oxford dictionary. Okay, so what it says, that drama is basically what it is. It's a basically a composition of verse, okay, which is performed on stage, and where there will be the dialogues will be there. There will be action represented by the actors, and there will be different gestures, costume, and sceneries will be there. Okay, that's how the shorter Oxford dictionary defined the term drama. Now there is another definition. Drama is a composition designed for performance in the theatre, in which actors take the role of the characters, perform the indicated action, and utter written dialogue. So now, as per a glossary of literary terms by H.M. Abrams, what the drama means is basically it's a composition which is designed for the performance. Okay, where it happens in the theatres, and the actors are going to take the different characters and they are going to perform whatever they have been guided as per the dialogue. Now, the elements of drama. The elements of drama are plot, characterization, dialogue, setting, stage directions, conflict, theme. These are the elements. So later we are going to discuss these topics in detail. Okay, basically the elements of drama. The four closely related areas of focus are the focus of the scene, the focus of the audience, the focus of the character, the focus of the actor. Now these are the closely related areas that we were talking about. Now, objectives. After studying this unit, you will be able to understand and identify drama as a genre of literature. And what else you will be able to do? Learn the definition of drama, explain the difference between drama and other forms of literature, and you will be able to explain the basic elements of drama. You will be able to understand the types of drama. So these are the objectives, that why these things have been included in your syllabus. Now, types of drama. First three types are the tragedy, comedy, and tragic comedy. Okay, so now in comedy there are 5 different types. First is romantic comedy, the another is sentimental comedy, then classical comedy, comedy of humor, and comedy of manners. Now see the elements of drama. As we just discussed, were 7 elements. Okay, so the very first one was plot, then we saw characters, then there was characterization, dialogue, stage directions, conflict, and theme. Okay, so now let's focus on the first one, that is plot. The series of events occurring in a play. Now, whatever the things that is taking place in a story, in a drama, that is called as plot. Okay, it means plan, scheme, or pattern. Whatever the plans are there, the schemes are there, the way it have been set, and everything that comes under plot. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. So plot, what does it have? It has a proper beginning, a middle, and a proper end. Now comes to the characters. The imaginary persons shown in drama. Who are the characters? The person who have been shown, okay, as an imaginary characters or as an imaginary person, they play the role of that, whatever the character they have been provided. The protagonist is the main character in a play, as in a movies and everything we say the hero or something like that. So that the person who plays the main character have been called as a protagonist. Other characters are major, minor, static, and dynamic, and flat and round. So there will be obviously other characters also. Only the protagonist is not going to play the whole drama, obviously, right? So there is going to be some other characters also. So like here, what it's mentioned over here, as it have been called as major or minor, static, dynamic, and flat and round. There will be different characters. Now characterization, it means to reveal peculiarities of the characters, to gain insight into their personalities, establish connections with them. Now as we talk about the characterization, if the person, whoever the main characters or any character, if they're not going to utter any dialogue, if they are not going to speak anything, so obviously we won't be able to come to know, like, that is he the good character, or is he the bad character, or is he the protagonist, is he the villain, or what. We are not gonna realize who which one is playing which kind of role if they doesn't perform anything, if they doesn't speak anything, right? So the as the time passes, as they speaks, so we comes to know, yes, he is the protagonist, he is the villain, or he is the antagonist, or whatever it is. Then comes next, that is dialogue. So it involves at least two speakers, monologue to speak to oneself. Now what dialogue means, when there are two people involved, so that is called as dialogue. Okay, now what is monologue? Monologue, when we talk to ourselves, that is what monologue is all about. Then soliloquy, characters thought expressed aloud, like when a character expresses their thoughts or their emotions in a loud manner, that's what it is. It reveals the nature of character and gives us information about this relation, as we just discussed, like if there will be no dialogues from the person's side, so we will not realize which kind of character are they, right? So obviously for coming to know about any character, we need to hear the dialogues between the other different characters. Now, stage directions. Performance of the actor during the course of the development of the story, along with the use of set lighting, music, and costumes. Stage directions are guidelines, suggestions given by the dramatist. Like, if any character is there on the stage, and if the main character is going to speak a very important dialogue, okay, and if he is standing at a very corner place, and where he won't be even visible to the audience, and then he is speaking the dialogue from that side, will it look like proper, or give a good effect on the audience? Obviously not, right? So that's what the thing, the stage directions are very important, the performance or the places wherever they are supposed to stand, the set lightings and everything, these things matters a lot. Okay, and apart from that, now comes the conflict. It is the essence of drama. So basically the conflict have been called as the essence of drama. Now see, if you're watching a drama, everything is happening so good since from the beginning till the end. Obviously, everything just happening so good, everything just beautiful and everything, and even the ending is just perfect. Nothing happen in between. Obviously no one is gonna like that. People want some conflict. People want some spice, right, in the story. So that's why it is called as the essence of a drama. It enlightens life, grants dignity and worth to human life. Now, as as we say, in a tough time, we come to realize who are the real people and who are the fake people and who is our true people, kind of. So that's how, even in the drama, through the conflict, the people will realize, right, that who are the genuine people, who are the fake people, and everything. And by that, people realizes the worth of humanity. Then theme. The main idea or point of a play stated as a generalization. So basically what the theme is all about, whatever the main idea of a drama, the main point of a play, that's have been called as a theme. Now a short history of a drama. Introduction to English drama theatre. Drama has its origins in folk theatre. We therefore cannot consider drama merely as a part of literature. Words are the medium of literature as an art, but drama is a multiple art using words, scenic effects, music, gestures of the actors, and organizing talents of a producer. The dramatist must have players, a stage, and an audience. Now, what it says, basically when we talk about the literature, it's a drama is basically the part of literature, but in when it comes to literature, it's a medium where we express the things through words. But when we talk about particularly drama, so that is a multiple art. It has been called as a multiple art, because there we use words also, we use scenic effects, we use music, we use gestures and actors, and we see the talent of producer and many other things we see, correct. And the dramatist, or there will be different players, and there will be stage and the audience that attracts. The beginning of drama in England are obscure. There is evidence to believe that when the Romans were in England, they established vast amphitheatres for the production of plays, but when the Romans departed, their theatre departed with them. Now, what it's saying, there are evidence, or that people believe that when Romans were there in England, so they established very vast amphitheaters, okay, for the production. But when the Romans departed from the England, so even the theater departed with them. That's what people believe. Then there were minstrels. People enjoyed their performances. Gradually, by 10th century, the ritual of plays, that itself had something dramatic in it, got extended into the rudiments of a play. Between the 13th and the 14th century, drama started having themes which were separated from religion. And then in the 13th and 14th century, what started happening? People started started with the different themes, and it separated from the religion. The words themselves were spoken in English. A longer dramatic script came into use, and the language that people used to speak was English, and it was longer and dramatic kind of script that people started using, and they were called miracle plays. Later, these religious dramas were the morality plays, in which characters were abstract vices and virtues. These were allegories. Now, Elizabethan and Restoration drama theatre. So basically, this Elizabethan period and Restoration period, that's what we are going to discuss now. That what was the role of drama, or what's exactly the status of a drama in that period. These secular morality plays have direct links with Elizabethan plays. The Renaissance imposed a learned tradition, classical in depth, with themes of education, general moral problems, and secular politics. Now, in this particular period, people started discussing about the classical depth and education and general morals and the secular politics and everything. People started discussing in the drama. The plays had nothing to do with religion. And in that particular period, people were not dealing with the religion and everything kind of stuff. There were examples of both comedy and tragedy. Thomas Kidd, Christopher Marlowe, and William Shakespeare are the prime dramatists of this era. It was Kidd who discovered how easily blank words might be converted into a useful theatre medium, which Shakespeare used brilliantly in all his plays. Now there were the famous names, that is Thomas Kidd and Christopher Marlowe and William Shakespeare. They were the prime dramatists of this period, of this era. Now what Kidd is saying, it was very easy to convert the blank words into the dialogue forms and everything, which Shakespeare did very brilliantly. That's what he says here. Tragedy developed in the hands of Kidd and Marlowe. Comedy had also proceeded beyond routine rustic humor, but by the 90s of the 16th century, the theatre in England was fully established, but complicated conditions governed the activities of the dramatist. The public theatre of the 16th century differed in many important ways from the modern theatre. Now the theatre which was there in the 16th century, that differed from the modern theatres anyhow. It was open to sky without artificial lighting. The stage was a raised platform with the recess at the back supported by pillars. Now there was no artificial theatres were there. There were no artificial lightings. It was all open areas. There was no curtain, and the main platform could be surrounded on the three sides by the audience. Now what it's saying here, there was no main platform or anything like that. There was no curtain, and even the stage or whatever was there, the platform that they used, so it was surrounded from the three ways by the audience. Around the theatre, there were galleries. In the 17th century. The enclosed theatre gained importance. Then in the 17th century, the enclosed theatres, it started gaining importance. There was increasing attention to scenic devices. As theatre became private. Like as with the time the theatre started becoming private, so then they started giving attention to the scenic devices. Shakespearean era came into existence in 16th century to the public theatre. He wrote for the contemporary theatre, manipulating the Elizabethan stage with great resource and invention. But the genius of Shakespeare should not allow the rest of the drama of his age to be obscured. Contemporary to him was Ben Jonson, a classicist, a moralist, and a reformer of drama. In comedy, Johnson's genius is found at its best, and his influence was considerable. The Restoration dramatists leaned strongly upon him. Now there are the different works of different dramatists have been appreciated. Now, closing of theatres by the Puritans in 1642 brought this greatest of all periods in the history of English drama to an end. Now the Puritans came in 1642 and they brought the greatest of all periods in history of English drama, that it was about to an end. For the civil wars, no theatres existed between 1640 to 1660. Now, as the civil wars existed that time, between the 1642 to 1660, there was no existence of a theatre for that particular period. The next phase, which appeared after the Restoration, produced a very different kind of dramatic literature. Dramatists like D. Chapman, Thomas Middleton, Webster, and Dekker were at the forefront. When Charles II came back with the Restoration of 1660, the theatres were reopened. The Restoration comedy achieved in peculiar excellence. Drama developed into the class drama with upper class ethos. It lasted beyond this period into the first decade of the 18th century. Comedy in the early 18th century declined into sentimentalism. Now, whatever the comedy that was used in the 18th century, then later it declined into sentimentalism. Okay, it became comedy of manners, and that is called as comedy of manners. George Etheridge was its most important exponent. From such depths, the drama was rescued by Oliver Goldsmith and Richard Sheridan. With Sheridan, something of brilliance of Restoration dialogue returned into comedy, but with more general atmosphere. The characters were firmly presented with clarity, reminiscent of Jonson, but with no depth in Sheridan's world, no new interpretation of human nature. In this, he was nearer to Oscar Wilde than to Jonson. So I hope you must have understood this much. Now later in the upcoming part that we will be discussing the more content which is there in the chapter.